Okie dokie, so as some of you guys may know, I'm really big into pit bikes and CR50s and 110s and stuff. I'm pretty big into pit bikes and stuff, so I wanted to introduce the newest toy to the channel here. It's a 2021 CRF 110 fuel injection. Done a couple mods, done a lot of the simple ones. Got the ODI podium bars, got the headlight on there, got folding shifter, so not doing that. Gonna get a shift shaft brace soon, not yet. Got the Dunlop MX53s on there, so I'm not sliding out anymore. Modified the exhaust a little bit, probably gonna get a Yoshi soon enough, but not right now. I don't see a reason to yet. I put the chain guide on there, so I'm not throwing a chain. I got a brand new DID Gold Series chain. So yeah, this thing is pretty nice. It already had the graphics on it, so they look pretty good. Plus they already have a lot of the things I use on there, so I think I'm just gonna keep it on there. They got the GoPro and all the Alpine Stars and 100% and everything. So a lot of stuff I'd use. So yeah, that's the new bike. And today I'm going to be doing some new modifications to it that are not as simple. I'm going to be doing the fork springs, dampening rods. So I'll get my front height. I've always hated these things because they always look low in the front. They don't have the feel that they should, like the 50s do when you put the fork kits in them. So definitely going to be putting the fork kit in that. On the rear, I'm going to be doing a D&M 350-pound spring in the rear, so that'll work out pretty nicely. Yeah, a couple more mods I'm probably going to end up doing are tall seat, shift shaft brace, maybe some foot pegs, not too much else. Maybe the exhaust is the last thing, really. Not too much else I really want to do to it. Maybe some airbox mods. Should get into that too. Maybe I can do that while I'm doing the fork kit, because I'll have all that out of my way. So maybe I'll do some airbox mods while I'm in there. But yeah, you can pick all these parts up at Racer's Edge as well. You get the ODI podium bars. You can get the tires, fork kits, D&M rear shock. You can do a lot of stuff. I also did the kickstart delete. I just took a piece of hose and just put it over that. It works pretty good. I'm not going to get no fancy aluminum, like, you know, clamp on thing, because that's just not necessary. So I just did that. Another little tip here is those Kickstarters, actually, they have the same splines as the CRF50. So if you have like a modded CRF50 motor and it's high compression and the stock Kickstarter isn't doing it, and you don't want a pay like a lot of money for a forged Kickstarter, you can go somewhere, and people are always taking their Kickstarters off their CRF 110s, and they're the same spline. So actually you can take the Kickstarter off this and put it on the CRF 50, so you'll have that longer stroke for the high compression engines. So that's another tip there. But anyway, we're gonna go ahead and get into this. So I'm gonna pressure wash it so it's nice and clean. It's been snowing out here, so it's starting to melt down now, but I'm going to pressure wash it, get it all clean, so I can much nicer work area to work with, and then I'll go on from there. Alright, so now that we got the bike inside, next thing to do is we got to get this rear shock off, because I need this rear shock for the other 110 we're working on. This one has been in a fire. You see there's melted plastic all over. Yeah, it was in a fire, a lot of melted plastic and burnt up CDI and stuff. So we went through this. I cleaned this up and knocked the burnt plastic out of that to see if this would work. It didn't. I ordered a cheapy one, didn't work. So I had to order one from Honda. That's the original CDI box, and now it runs pretty good. It didn't run with this. It missed fire with this, and then this one works pretty good. So I need that shock to get this bike finished. And then on my bike, I gotta do the D&M rear shock on installing the BBR heavy-duty fork springs and dampening rods along with this shock. Okay, so to do the D&M shock on your CRF 110, all you have to do is remove both sides of your plastics on each side so you can get to both of the mounting bolts for your shock and also the seat, just for easier access. And then so you're also going to need to lift the bike up so you can get the swing arm off the ground so you can actually pull the shock out. So yeah, I'm going to do that now. Basically just want the bike weightless so you can, so basically just barely to where the tires hit the ground basically. So basically after you get the 2 shock bolts removed, you can kind of situate it. You might have to lift the bike up a little more just because the swing arm goes down and you need the room to get the shock out, but other than that, that's all you really gotta do. Okay, so after you get your 2 side panels off and your seat off, and also unbolt your 2 front or rear gas tank bolts on a 2019 Plus, for the shocks that we sell at Racer's Edge, all you have to do is just basically bolt it on. Some of them you have to do frame trimming. Ours, we do not because we have the 2019 Plus version. So, yeah, now basically you just put it back on like you took the old shock off with the 2 bolts, and then tighten those down. Make sure you grease everything. And then after that, we're gonna move on to our fork legs to do the dampening rods. All right, time to grease these up and bolt them down. Leave these front plastics off so I can adjust the spanners and rebound, because I have to get the front forks, gonna put the heavy duty springs and dampening rods in there so I can bounce up and down on the bike and feel how tight or loose these need to be and adjust everything before I put everything back on. But for now, I'm just gonna tighten these down and go from there. Okay, there's that all done. Anyway, now I got to take the bike off the lift and flip it around because now we got to do the forks. Alright, so when taking these off, the fork legs, you have to take your front wheel off, lift the bike up so you can pull these out. You don't have to take these out, just loosen these, because there's no reason to take them out. You're just basically unclamping it. That's all you got to do. And then after that, the procedure gets a little more difficult getting inside the fork, but we'll get there. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and get these loosened up. And then I'll show you guys what to do from there. Wrong socket. And this impact just went dead. Because I love when that happens. New battery. Okay. Help to hold the other axle. It's funny, I just had this front tire off, or this front wheel off, putting this new tire on. Now I'm taking it right back off again because BBR fork springs and stuff were on back order, and I couldn't do it at the time, so that just didn't happen. And this brake is being the little bit, tiny bit on the difficult side today. How do you say so? Nice spacer. Let's get back in your wrong position here so we can work. On here. Brake is being a little bit on the difficult side. This is what you get when you do windows. You need to type for brake, and you can't take the effing, can't take the brake out. There we go. Finally. I had to do a lot of persuading with that one. Anyway, back to what we were doing. Removing the forks. Also, when you're doing this, you don't have to take both fork legs off at a time. I have to do one so you can go back and look at the other one. If you make mistakes or don't know how to put it back together. And then you gotta take this little just bolt that holds this little routing cable, a little cable router thing on here off. And after that, your fork should be free to slide out of the triplet clamps. Stuckified? Of course. Like always with my luck. There we go. Okay, so there's the old fork leg. This one's really light because this one has a problem. Its problem is that it is leaking quite a bit of oil. Mainly because All Balls fork seals have been out of stock in Indiana's WPS website. They've been out of stock for a while. So I am going to basically take these off, these fork seals, and clean them. Because more than likely it's just dirt in there holding it open. So I'm going to take them off, clean them as best as I can, and hope and pray that that leak stops. Along with putting our heavy-duty springs and dampening rods into our forks. Boing, 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 boing. I'll go ahead and open up these BBR dampening rods and springs here. I heard looks like the box for the springs is much longer than most, so I'm guessing that there's a big sleeve in there that's doing most of the length there. So that's what my guess is. So because there's the old springs aren't that long, I'm pretty sure there's just big spacers in there. So I'm gonna get way more travel out of those springs. These dampening rods are 1.5 inches longer, and they have different dampening holes, so improvements. Gotta love those. Let's see what these springs look like. Alright, let's see what these open them over here. See what these springs look like. You can pick all this stuff up at Racer's Edge, so we don't really stock, but we can order any BBR part you need, including the big parts like swing arms, you know, upside down fork kits for any of the KLX, CRF, TTR, whatever you have. We can order those parts for you. But for today, we have the, yeah, these are much longer. Looks like they just have the little tiny spacers in there. I'm pretty sure the other ones are like this long, much longer, but yeah, those will work nicely. Alright, so when taking this top cap off, it kind of helps to break it free in the clamps, because sometimes you can't find something that you can hold on good enough to wrench that off. So if you can't get it off, you can just leave it in the clamp and torque it off. Do not take it all the way off, because of course oil is going to come out. So just break it loose, but make sure it still seals. Now we got to take this bottom bolt out to drain the oil. An impact driver is kind of nice here too. Break these loose. A little bit of rust and stuff coming up in there. Never a good sign. Okay. Be mindful of the dampening cone that's in the bottom of the fork leg. Don't forget about that, and don't leave it in there crooked. If you go to put your fork back together and that's in there sideways, it is going to demolish that and probably your new dampening rods. So make sure to be aware of the dampening cone that's in the bottom of the fork, lower fork leg. Make sure you take that out. I'll show you what it looks like here. A little oily, but it's this little thing. It's tapered. I'll show you how to put that back in when we put it back in, but just be mindful that that's there and exists, so we can't forget about it. But anyway, you basically just want to let your forks drain, so you're not messing with any oil taking your fork apart. This fork leg doesn't have very much oil in it, because this was the fork leg with bad seals. So I'll have to clean them up, but all right, I'm gonna let these drip drain for a while. And while I do that, I'm gonna go ahead and take the other fork out of the bike. This is where jaw horses are kind of handy, because you can do this and clamp it in place. Get out of my way. I'm gonna go and take the other fork leg out of the other bike, and then yeah. Man, this fork leg is that one was a little on the difficult side. But we got it out. Yeah, this leg is so much stiffer than the other one, because it actually has dampening oil in it, unlike the other one. So we'll have to fix that. Alright, so after you get your... let me move this stuff out of the way. Alright, we've been dripping for a while. Alright, so this is where that rag you need comes in handy. Basically just a big towel, like a beach towel, or not just a regular rag, like a big towel. It'd be nice here doing this step. All right, so this is where you got to take that top cap that you loosened up earlier. This is where you got to take that out. That is a 17 millimeter. I'm pretty sure I said that already, but it is a simple little 17 up here. There's that. You're gonna have a little sleeve in here. Of course, this big sleeve is gonna be replaced with a bunch of spring, so you'll have way more travel. So that's a big upgrade with these. And you're gonna have your washer that's on top of your spring. Make sure you keep that. And you're gonna have the spring itself. That's why it's a good idea to have towel. You just see all that oil come out. So, man, that is a difference right there. Woo-wee, look at that. Man, that's quite the bit of a spring difference there. Much stiffer, obviously. The coils are much thicker and much longer as well. So that's going to be a very big improvement in my opinion, because I ride this bike a ton. So the improvements are awesome. You're gonna have your dampening rod and spring that's on your dampening rod. Other than that, your fork tube is empty, or stanchion, I mean. So here you're just gonna take your spring off. You're gonna have this little white guide, little clip here. You basically just want to pop that off of your old dampening rod, like that, and you're gonna pop it onto your new one. They don't come with new ones. I'm gonna pop it onto your, oh, hold on, something up with the GoPro, there we go. So I'm gonna go ahead and compare these dampening rods, see how much more length I'm gonna get. Yeah, it's about an inch, and they look a little more heavy duty too. It's about an inch, yeah, for sure. That's a pretty big difference. Also, you can see here, there's different holes. These up here only have 2 holes. You can see that, they only have 2 holes right there and there. And they have a hole here and here, and also they're differently spaced for better dampening for bigger riders or faster riders. So that's what I need, because I'm a fast rider. So after that, you basically just snap that back onto your new dampening rod. You're gonna have that on there, your spring, like that. And so you see there's this coned part of the stanchion. That's where it goes in like this. So basically the threaded part up top. Make sure that the spring is on there like that, and that's on there. And then you're gonna slide this in like this, and it's gonna fall down in there, and it's gonna pop out the bottom like that. It should do that. That's what it's supposed to do. Then you're gonna have your spring. That slides in next, just like that. Then you're gonna have a little washer and the spacer. I could be doing something wrong, but these springs are really long, almost too long, because I can't even compress the new thing, the new spring all the way. My goodness, wow. Okay. That's quite a bit of spring loadification that needs done there, so that's gonna be hard to do. I'm sure we can do it, but it's gonna be a little difficult. Oh my goodness, that's a lot of preload. That's a lot of preload for that. Anyway, I'm gonna keep that out for now because we gotta put oil in still. So I'm just gonna keep that out. But that's how it goes back together. I'll show you that here again in a second. But now I gotta clean up this old fork tube because I need to clean up basically the inside of it, and I'm gonna clean up the seals. Brake clean is a very handy thing to have when you're doing this. I actually probably should have done this before I put that in there. You need to spray both your tubes, stanchion and your lower tube out with brake clean, so it'll be nice and clean. I meant to do that. You can just do it right over the oil pan you were using. But yeah, anyway, after you do that, now you basically want to take your dampening cone. Don't forget about this thing. Make sure there's no dirt or anything on it. You don't want any dirt inside of your fork, because then that's just gonna break your seals leak, and it's not gonna be a very fun day. So make sure that's all clean. No little dirt chunks or anything. I'm gonna drop that in there and make sure it positions itself the way it should be. Like that. Perfect. You're gonna have to reposition it if you gotta lay down. But anyway, after that, drop this in there. Drop your dampening rod in there. Like so. And then take your spring. Drop in there. So now I gotta clean up these seals in here. Oh yeah, they're full of some dirt, that's for sure. I'm gonna have to clean that up. But anyway, I'll get back to you when I clean these seals up. I don't think I'm gonna find that. Oh my god, dude. Oh man, I really hope I got that on camera too. Oh, that was funny. I don't think I did. I had my camera pointing too low. Dang it. Alright, I'm not sure if you guys saw that, but I went to go take my dust seal off, and that thing just went flying across the room. But anyway, you can see there's a bunch of dirt and grime up in there. That's what's making it leak. So you basically want to clean all of that out, because it's in pretty bad shape right now. Try not to damage the seal any more than it is if you're reusing them, obviously. Another tip is don't forget that brake clean can soak into your skin. Not the greatest idea to get it all over your hands, so try and avoid that if at all possible. If not, oh well, but again, just try to avoid that happening. In general, basically just try to prevent that from happening. What did I do with my tool? There it is. There's some rust in here and everything. Man. The main thing you want to look at is the sealing surface itself. on the in and outside of the fork tube, on the outside of the fork tube and where the stanchion touches it. That's mainly the parts you want to clean. Looks pretty good to me. Way cleaner than it was, I'll tell you that. So, I'm getting a phone call. Someone was just checking to see how I was doing. But anyway, I got that seal cleaned up. Oh, GoPro fell down. Look at that. Anyway, stop it. I didn't even position. There we go. Okay. Anyway, back to the point here. Clean the seal out. Seal mating surfaces are looking really good. I'm going to clean them out one more time before I put this in. But they are looking mighty fine. So I don't think I'm going to have any worries. If not, of course, I always have the option to wait and get the all-ball seals later on. So, of course, they're not that hard to change. You don't have to take the entire fork apart to do that. You just have to take it out of the bike, mainly. But now you're going to drop your dampening cone in there and position it to where it's up and down. I'm not sure if you guys are going to be able to see this, but make sure it is like that, straight up and down in there, and make sure the coney part is pointing up like a pyramid. Make sure it looks like a pyramid, like up, like the part that, basically the tapered part needs to go upwards. Looking pretty good. Yep, okay, we're good. Sometimes you can look through them and see all the way to the bottom, make sure everything's lined up and not crooked. But that's the main thing you need to do. It's just that. I'm gonna go ahead and slide our dust seal back on. I'm gonna clean that off a little bit too, just to be safe. Gotta have everything clean and dirty. So I'm gonna clean that off a little bit. A little dirty. A little bit of dirtiness in there, not much. Not too much to worry about it really. But another good thing is to have the other fork draining out while you do this fork. If you're in a rush, that's just something you can do. Not really important that much, but it's just something that helps. A lot of dirt in here. My goodness. That's pretty bad. This thing's a 2021, man. I didn't think the forks would be going bad that soon. It's only 2023. The beginning of it, I guess. Like, dude. You're not that old. That 2014 burnt bike I fixed, that I restored, the fork seals aren't even leaking on it. It's from 2014. Now let's slide this over. Sometimes you can pop these in with hand, sometimes you can't. I was able to, but anyway. There's that. I don't really think that the dust seal is particularly doing its job, but it might be, who knows. Here's where it helps to put this bottom bolt in prematurely, because it allows you to basically be able to work on the fork without it falling down on you, which is not something you want to happen. So, yeah, do that. Where did my socket go? I have done something with the socket, Allen, I need. Oh, this is not very polite. It shouldn't lose itself like that. Why would it lose itself? It wasn't a very kind thing for it to do. I kind of, sort of like, need it too. This is all part of the plan, guys, I promise. There it is. I'm just blind, that's all. Of course, you don't want to tighten that down or hammer it down yet. It's just in there to provide you with assistance. Another good thing before you put these back in the bike is to put an O-ring on the stanchion so you can see and measure how much your fork is traveling, so it's easier to adjust your bike later on. Definitely going to be doing that. So, I'm going to go grab myself an O-ring. Okay, I don't have to go up front and get an O-ring. I'll do that before I put the bike on, or the leg on, because you don't have to have the fork apart to do that. Anyway. Now, after you have all that together, take your spacer or your little washer, put it on top of the spring, then the spacer, then you're going to do your top cap. But before you do that, we have to put oil in this thing. So, I'm going to go ahead and crank this bottom bolt down. Let's see what the paper that BBR provided us with says. Let's see here. Alright, so they're measuring it really weird. They want it measured with the spring out and the fork collapsed. They recommend 140 millimeters of oil. So I'm gonna go get my cup and measure that out, because yeah. Alright, so I got 5.5 ounces. That's what I've looked up everywhere. So that's what I'm gonna use, because that's the only thing I could find. We're using 5.5. Looks like we're at 5. Let's go with a little more. There we go. Put that over here so you guys can see. Another good little trick is Lucas oil stabilizer. Really good stuff. Recommend in almost any wet clutch bike, pit bike, anything. Pretty much anything. Lawnmower, any motor. Just put this in there, because it's amazing stuff. We sell it at Racer's Edge. But with forks, if you put it in there a little bit, we'll put a little in there. It night and day difference. I mean, it's so much more fluid. Thickens up the oil a little bit. So, little tip there. It's like honey. Maybe it is honey, we just don't know it. Alright. Dampening rod is for sure doing its job. Looks like the seal is doing okay. I don't want to claim plant this in there so I can use it as a vise, basically, because in order to get this spring compressed and put this little cap on, it's a little on the difficult side, so we're gonna have to use this jaw horse. It gets compressed quite a bit, actually. You'd be surprised. Trust me, I'm not using this impact to tighten it down. Just using it to get it started so I have something to use it to turn it with. Alright, now we can tighten it down by hand, because I don't want to impact it down, because then you can't feel how much force you're actually really putting on this thing. Alright, so we're going to take this out and see how it feels. Don't push this on concrete either. Take like a soft mat and see how it feels. It's the best thing to do. I'm gonna go put this next to the old fork and see how much taller it is. Wow, look at that. That's a pretty big difference, actually. Look at that. Oh, that'll definitely help on some of them bigger jumps for sure. It's pretty stiff, actually. I might dump an ounce or two of oil out of there because I'm pretty light. So I might unstiffen it, but of course I'm pushing it out just with my hands, not the weight of the bike plus everything else. So I think I'm going to leave it. Unless I get on the bike and don't like it, I might take a little bit out, but of course I can't really give you an opinion on weight, oil weight, or how many ounces you put in there, because I can't really recommend anything, because I don't know how heavy or light you are, so you have to set that up yourself, and just make that decision on your own. But for me, this was pretty good. I like it. What they said was 5.5 ounces of oil. So what I would do is add about 5 ounces to 5.3 ounces of oil to your measuring cup, and add till you get to 5.5 or like 6. Add some Lucas oil, because oil stabilizer, that stuff is awesome in the forks. Makes it feel so fluid, and it's good in every way. I love doing it. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the other fork. It's no different than the other one. So alright, so now we get to put these things back on the bike. I'm gonna make sure these fork legs look pretty much the same. I don't want lopsided forks. They're the same, obviously. Alright, so now it's the same as the way you install them. You just gotta install them in each triple clamp and tighten them down. Also, another thing when you tighten these fork legs in, make sure you put the brake side on the right side, because you can tell them apart, because this one has a notch for the brake drum to slide into, that little notch right there. You want to make sure that that's on the right side of the bike from the back. So basically, this side of the bike is the side it needs to go onto. The side with the brake, basically, is what I'm trying to get out there. That's all I'm trying to say. Just the side with the brake. I like to put them right about there so I can get maximum length out of these. So I'll put them there. 12 millimeter for the tightening down process of this. I like this. luckily I don't have to get extended brake cable because I'm running shorter bars because my knees. I don't like the feel of the taller bars, the 50 bin. I like the 110 bin because they're a little shorter. So luckily I don't have to run an extended cable. If any of you guys comment about that, I'm not going to because I don't really need to until I switch to the 50 bin bars. So yay about that, I guess. Ooh, this was the one that was a little on the difficult side. Oh yeah. Good little tip here is before you put your fork legs in, smear the triple clamps of the inside where the fork touches it with grease. This A, prevents it from rusting like they were starting to, and B, makes it much easier to slide them in. Kind of almost forgot to do that. I have to take the other fork leg out and do it because I forgot. But it's okay. Luckily I caught my mistake. It's not really a mistake, it's just a good thing to do. Right there. Sometimes I like to take the front axle and put it through the two forks to check and see how equal they actually are. Oh my goodness. I'm just good. Alright, go away. Okay. Don't know why I don't on the phone. Let's not make mistakes like me. GoPro battery died, but it's okay. Back at it. Watch out, grease comes up after you use it. It's another pop. Or more melt. Just put the excess grease off inside here. Make sure. Oh, that's in there. Man, that looks a lot taller. Holy cow. I can just tell by the amount of fork showing there. Sheesh. Might have to get an extended swing arm or something. Either that or lower the forks in the triple clamps themselves. I'm not sure if that's going to look very good. This might be a little too tall. Might have to lower it a little bit, but we can do that afterwards. Brake pads are a little on the rough side. Here, I'll wipe some of that excess dirt off. I wish it was how easy to get it off. It's so much hard to get it off. Stop being a little piece of crap and just do what you're designed to do. Please, just be normal. Don't do this. It's like, I gotta grease the axle. Probably should have done that before. Like the mid-axle. Probably didn't fall off. Oh, I guess. Get in there. There you go. Once you push your axle through, make sure you put some grease on the threads before you put the nut on, just so it's easier to get back off if you have to service the fork again. Obviously. Alrighty, let's get this nut on and heck yeah. There's a whole lot of heck yeah-tism right here. That's what this is. Wrong size. Perfect. Man, that is insanely taller. Holy cow, man. That's really tall. Holy cow. And detonation rods made a bigger difference than I thought they would. Highly recommended, I guess. It'd be pretty good if you had like an extended swing arm or like the Pro Comp swing arm. It'd match it. It'd match it pretty good. I've seen people put upside down forks on these things. I guess that's getting a little on the crazy side. All right. I'm go ahead and let this down, and then I'm gonna have to adjust the suspension to my weight. And then forks barely moving to the way of the bike. Holy cow, that's crazy. All right. All right, there she is on the ground. She's leaning over quite a bit there, but nothing an extended kickstand won't solve. Can't really take it for a ride right now. It's getting dark outside, so and the GoPro doesn't do good in the dark. So I'll see you guys tomorrow.